received tonight in front of your home crowd? How does it feel?
It felt great. Honestly, I was getting really cold backstage. I was like, man, I felt amazing warming up, and now I'm starting to cool off. I'm starting to lose that drive. And then when I got back in the cage and heard San Diego erupt with that energy, it just reignited, got me recharged and excited to be in there.
When I was watching the fight, it looked like she was kind of deep in on that takedown, and then you jumped Gilly, and it was like, were you confident that was there the whole time, or?
Yeah, so she kind of did a shot, but I defended it with the 10-finger guillotine, and really that was just to make her scramble. Like if I could finish it, great. So then when she lifted, I was like, well, that just makes it worse. It's sunken in, and I hate pulling guillotines. But I just felt like the 10 fingers, she made that adjustment because she was threatened, not because she thought she could slam out of it. And then her head just got deep in there, and I just knew that either she was going to knock herself out by slamming in the wrong position or sink that choke even deeper for me and ultimately sunk it deeper.
You talk about a 135-pound division as something that you're very interested in. How confident are you that the PFL can get that done?
I'm not confident. I wish I was. I'm never confident in anything with MMA. I think that I'll have a chance and then I don't. I see the rankings and I think something and I don't, so I really don't know. But I really hope that they hear me on this because we've lost 145ers, we've lost 135ers. We're now just dwindling down more and more. And it's not for a lack of women that can perform. It's not for us coming out and putting on great fights like tonight. It's just because we keep getting cut out of there. So we need to bring in more women. I'm really hoping they hear me on this. And if not for me, just the future of women's MMA and PFL growing more.
And if that isn't something that they're willing to do, then what would you like to do next?
They don't want to fight for that belt. I'm ranked number 2. Number 1 is sitting. She has her fight lined up, so it only makes sense that if it's not going to be for the bantamweight division, I'm fighting for the 125 title.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk about getting back here in San Diego. What it means, I know the crowd and all of that, but just personally, what it means to be back here.
It feels really good. I have so many friends and family that reached out about that they were going to come to the fights, so they want to come to support. So know that I can come out here and perform for them because a lot of it's always that pressure, right? You're on home turf more than ever. Like if I'm away, I can just ignore the text messages if I make a mistake, good or bad, right? When you're here, they see everything happen, so it puts that much more pressure. So when I can come off with the win, when I can do things right in the fight, it makes me really happy. And then San Diego's a great place. Everybody loves San Diego. Everybody comes here to vacation because it's a great place. So even better to win here and know that I get to go have great food right after this way.
I know you have a long list of questions and a long list of stories. But going back to the 135 conversation, you kind of mentioned that, is it really just about what you want for yourself, or is it about the future of women in this company, something you've been adamant about?
It's definitely both. Having watched the 135 division blossom and grown to something that was just beautiful and doing so well, and then watching more divisions open up, I was excited to see that the representation of all women's MMA. And selfishly, I would love to not do these crazy cuts. Like, they're not good. I know they're not good. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I would die if I tried to make 115. It's not even an option. So 125 is the only choice. So selfishly, of course, I want a 135 division, so it'd be easier. But also because I hate seeing all that work and all that effort of growing each weight class and growing women's MMA just to watch it start to dwindle away. It makes me sad to see all that growth just disappear. So I want to keep adding weight classes because women are not just 2 body types. It's ridiculous. Look at Chris Cyborg. If they didn't have a 145 division, we would have never seen her. And she represents all we know of women's MMA. Like, she's the legend of legends. So how can we deny that there are more weight classes that should be available to women today?
So many fighters are just so self-absorbed. If you still make it a point in San Diego, going on the huge way to make it a discussion, not just talk to yourself. Why at this stage of your career, where you're at life, is it important to put over the next generation?
Because I would hope that the wins that I come to every fight ready. I come in to make a finish. I come in poised. I come in professional to every single event they have me. If they say, hey, last minute, I need you to go out to Camp Pendleton, I say, absolutely, I got you, no doubts. I'll work out everything I need to do. I'll bring my meal prep. It's not going to interfere with anything, and I'll show up in the best possible form. No matter what they ask me, I always say yes, and I come out and make sure that I represent the company as best as possible. So to me, I shouldn't have a voice in being able to say women's MMA deserves more than what we're getting right now. And they're not getting enough and they deserve more. Women deserve more. Because I know so many other women that should have a future and they can't because they can't be a 125 or 1 container. And we're not doing right by them by limiting to 2 weight classes. I want to see women flourish and I want to see them keep coming out and being the main event and the co-main event and putting on these great fights because that's what they do. When people tune in, it's consistently the women putting on the great fights and the great finishes that people enjoy. They're not booing the women, they're booing the men. So let's add more weight classes so we can make the fights that much more exciting that people want to tune in for.
How do you see Dakota's fight coming up in Long Island? How do you see that one going? And this is an obvious collision course you guys are headed for, right?
I think it's an obvious collision course, and I think that Denise has a lot of talent, and she's a great kickboxer, but I just don't think she's great all around in MMA, and I think Dakota has the answer for every place. I mean, Denise, if you stay right there in the pocket, she throws and she'll knock you out. But if you move and you have the range like Dakota, she's not going to be able to get to Dakota and do damage. I just don't think, unless Dakota injures her hand again, and it isn't able to finish the fight and pull it off, I think she's ultimately going to knock out Denise, and just going to move on, take some time off, and then be ready to fight again at the end of the year, and the only person that makes sense for that is me.
I'm very excited to see that fight with you.
Thank you.
Liz, right over here. This week there was a pretty heavy emphasis on military, especially with you going back and visiting Camp Pendleton. What was that like for you, and how much extra motivation does that have, but also the fans kind of chanting USA, USA? What's that like for you?
Yeah, it was really cool to be able to go back. I haven't been to Camp Pendleton since I got out in 2009, right? I think I went one other time and I thought, I'm never coming back here. I had good and bad experiences, but that chapter's closed. It's like the Dixie Chicks song. I just wasn't gonna look back in the mirror. I was done, that was it, right? But it gave me an opportunity to talk to a generation that everybody I served with, everybody's retired. They've been out for at least 2 years now. Some are still going. So the generation I'm talking to is the new generation of people, and they don't know who I am. So if I can be a voice, a potential for their futures, whether it's to stay in and commit and do their retirement, or it's to get out and pursue a dream that they were unsure about, that I hopefully can be somebody as an example that shows that they're able to do that. So to take the time, fight me, to go and do that meant a lot for me.
Being someone who obviously was successful after the military, what's like the biggest piece of advice when it comes to finding a career and really just keeping life moving afterwards? What do you have to say on that topic?
I think that's going to come down to each individual person. For me, I always seek a challenge, whether it's emotional growth, it's intellectual growth, it's physical growth. I'm always trying to push myself to evolve and become a better person. Right? The person I was yesterday, I hope can look to the person I am today and see that I'm 1% better. So that's always what I try to achieve. I'm always trying to grow in my relationship with my wife, grow my relationship with my son, with my family, and so I try and transfer that to everything. So I would say for anyone, just challenge yourself, find your passion, find your love, and it makes that challenge so much easier.
And lastly, just speaking about your mindset, your motivation at this point in your career, it seems like no matter who they got, you're ready to fight and you never really look for names, if that makes sense. Can you just speak to just being, it seems like, I don't know if really the reality is, but it seems like you're just open to fighting and really just going and doing what you do every single time.
Yeah, I'm just here because I love what I do. You know, when I started out fighting, I didn't have a combat sports background, so I didn't know if I would ever have a fight, because I'm like, it's going to take years before I maybe be able to qualify as an amateur. So certainly a professional career is out of the question. Fast forward 16 years and I'm still fighting professionally. So I'm grateful every day that I have it, because tomorrow is no guarantee, especially in this sport, when something so simple can throw off the trajectory that you think you're on. So anything that they give me, I'm grateful for, and just happy to keep fighting, keep having these opportunities.
Thank you. All good?
Yeah, we're talking about like the women's bantamweight division. You're obviously such like a key historical figure in that sense in many regards, and it used to be like one of the marquee divisions in MMA. I feel like, what do you think has, I guess, shifted that sentiment in recent years?
I'll give you my honest answer, and I don't think a lot of people are going to like it. My honest answer being is that I think that each division needs a pretty girl. Sadly, that's the world that we live in. And right now, the 135 division was led by a masculine representing female, and that started to kill off the division, right? Which is another reason why I'm probably not the face of this division either, because I'm not that pretty girl. I'm a masculine presenting female, so I'm not going to represent what's the appeal to most straight men, which is the strongest fan base in women's MMA. It's white males 18 to 34 years old. So they're looking for women that are pretty. They're not looking for masculine presenting women. So I think if we can find a pretty girl for 135, sadly, and I wish that wasn't the case, but that's what we need for that division to explode. And then we can get that. And I think when we aren't having that represented in the 135 division, that's what ultimately killed me.
I appreciate your earnestness. I guess the question that I had too, because we spoke at your 2025 PFL finals effort there, and you were talking, you were getting awarded every first an instructor at that point. Like, how much does instructing people and teaching a martial arts inform your career longevity? Like, you still have that spark and whatnot. How much does teaching kind of serve that piece?
Yeah, I really love teaching. I love being able to help others. I think that everybody learns in a different format, and I think that martial arts is for everybody. It doesn't have to be competition level for everybody, but I think it should be available for everyone. And some people, you're just not speaking in a language that they can connect with. So I love being able to find that puzzle of what connects with people and find out how I can make them have a passion for it and learn something that wasn't resonating with them before. So for me, it's about making it as tangible to everyone. And so I really do love teaching it, and it's a huge impact on what I do, because even in the gym when I'm supposed to be working on myself, is I see somebody else like, I gotta go help you. Like, look, I see you're trying and you're just missing one little thing. Maybe I can help you along the way. So I'm constantly trying to help people out, because it also helps me. And it's not selfish for me, but when I can help other people, sometimes I realize mistakes I'm making. But if I can give back, why wouldn't I? Because it's free to help somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess lastly for me, because like the upcoming PFL New York fight has been mentioned, it would seem like you would be on that. That's the design of the binary with the upcoming title fight. Do you intend to physically be there cage side to like really like make yourself seen? I feel like that's such a big MMA goal, just to like make yourself visible cage side. Is that sort of the thing you intend to do?
It'll just depend on where I'm at with my family. So I go away completely for my fight camps. So then when I get back, I dedicate trying to be there physically in person for my wife and for my son. And so as long as my son doesn't have meets coming up, my wife doesn't have any obligations, then yeah, I would love to be there cage side to see it in person.
Hey, Liz, right here. MMA Boxing on Puff Sports Radio. Phenomenal win out there again. You were kind of like the face that introduced Ronda Rousey to MMA. Now, who would you want to introduce to the 135 division as your first opponent?
See, that's a good question, and that's what I need to be thinking about. Is I need to do some research into the 135ers out there, and I think that that's something I need to start presenting. Even if I have to come to PFL and go, here's your roster, just sign them. Right? I definitely feel like I'm willing to do that if that's what it takes to happen.
Got it. Last one for me. Moved out of San Diego, but it seems like San Diego's still right here. What is it like to get that standing ovation every single time you come out here and perform?
You know, San Diego has been home for 20 years for me. This is still where I come back to every fight camp to train, because San Diego is such a great place, and because I still have friends and family here that welcome me with open arms. So it's great to be able to come back and to give back to them for always accepting me and bringing me in here.
Good luck, and congratulations on Pride Month.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Liz.